Hello and welcome. This is the Word of God. Are you supposed to pay tax? Is it wrong for Christians? Is it wrong or is it godly for us to pay tax? And how much are we supposed to pay? One sure thing, we are supposed to pay tax. It is a godly thing. But when we are overtaxed, when we are overburdened, when the yoke is too heavy for us to carry and to bear, then it becomes a big issue even in the eyes of God. Because then it is no longer taxation, and the state is no longer serving the interest of God, but it is now an oppressive and a thing to the citizens. When you look at Solomon and even his son Jeroboam, Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, one of the things that really disgusted God was overtaxation. And the people, they cried to God. They were being overtaxed, and the burden was too much. And remember, God had warned the children of Israel, why do you want to have human kings? Why are you crying for a human king? They are going to take away, grab, take, possess that which is yours. And they are going to, by force, recruit your sons and daughters. And not only that, they are going to overburden you. But who are the children of Israel? They were persistent and stubborn. And eventually, God allowed Samuel to anoint for them the human kings. And so taxation is godly. It is a blessing. It is a fair deal. And it is also what God would want us and um, citizens are to do, because a state, a government cannot run without taxation and without taxes. Now, all the same, God is keen, because after, for example, when the children of Israel were overburdened, one of the reasons why Solomon fell actually into sin, and God also heard the cries of the children of Israel, was overtaxation. And when his son Rehoboam took over, instead of reducing, cutting the amount of taxation and then the burden of taxation, he even doubled, and he threatened them. And he told them, my father was asking for 10 shillings. I'll triple that, and shall ask even for 100 shillings. And so Rehoboam did not accommodate any corrections or even reduction of taxes and the burden placed on the children of Israel. And that one also eventually led to the breakup of the kingdom of David. Now, about today, what does Paul talk about taxation? Romans chapter 14, Romans chapter 13. Everyone must obey the state authorities. The state authorities are governments, because no authority exists without God's permission. And the existing authorities have been put there by God. Whoever opposes the existing authorities opposes what God has ordered, and anyone who does so will bring judgment on himself. For rulers are not to be feared by those who do good, but by those who do evil. Do what is good, and do what is good, and it is okay. Because authority, Paul also continues and says, pay the taxes and do what is good, and they will praise you. The government will praise you. The authorities will praise you. Your masters will praise you when you do what is good, because they are God's servants working for your own good. But if you do evil, then be afraid of those authority, because their power to punish is real. They are God's servants, and they carry out God's punishment on those who do evil. For this reason, you must obey the authorities, not just because of God's punishment, but because as a matter of conscience. Then he says, that's also why you pay taxes, because the authorities are working for God when they fulfill their duties. Governments are working for God when they fulfill their duties by us paying tax, but fairly, the right amount, the right time, and without overburdening the citizens and without actually eating into the income of the citizens. So he says, pay then what you owe them. Pay them your personal and property taxes and show respect and honor for them all. So pay your taxes, pay your personal and also property taxes, and show respect and honor for them all. And as I finish, there is also another place when Jesus was asked by the disciples, are we to pay tax or what are we to do? Because it was a trap that had been set by the enemies of Jesus. And Jesus said, no, it is very much okay to pay taxes. Give to Caesar, give to the government, give to the authorities what belongs to the authority, and give to God what is God's. So, as citizens, as godly, as obedient, as a loyal citizens, payment of taxes is very just. And when we fail, then if the government punishes us, they have the real power to punish, and they are actually free from any condemnation or accusation by God. But the catch is when they overcharge, when they increase, when they double, when they are selfish, when they are greedy, when they grab, when they usurp, and when they have a firm control and a very thick and punitive control over the citizens, that's where things don't work. They need to be fair, they need to be just, because they are working on behalf of government. And therefore, you need to pay your property, you need to pay what belongs to Caesar, and you need to pay also apart from personal property, also tax property. Tax, also property tax, personal and property tax. And that is what God demands of us. That is the word of